How's it going, YouTube and all the ISL fans out there? This is Top 523, coach of the Miami Heat Trains, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Berk, coach of the New England Patriots.
And we are here for Week 2 weekly recaps. You're noticing that the video looks a little bit different. We have a new logo. Uh, uh, the person who created this logo, Twitter link and website will be linked in the description below. So please go check them out. Please go show them support. They did a great job with this. They also did the uh, layout for the match recaps for that we do for each battle. So definitely go check them out. They did a great job with this. So
Unfortunately, the layout for this video is still by me, so gonna have to put up with that a little bit longer.
yeah, we're gonna do our best to see if we can get a new layout for this so that it looks a little better. But with that, let's go ahead and go into the first matchup. The first matchup is the Atlanta Sharks, coached by Bob, going up against the Carolina Panthers, coached by Oz. The Atlanta Sharks won with a 2-0 victory. They brought Azumarill, Gudra, Arcanine, Thunderous T, Mega Lopunny, and Ferrothorn, while Oz brought Hydreigon, Mega Aerodactyl, Deontay, Rotom H, Toxicroak, and Mew. This was actually a very good matchup between both two teams. Oz definitely improved with his planning and battling, much better than his Week 1 matchup. He brought the Mew this week, which pretty much was only really used as a suicide lead to go against Ferrothorn to get it out, and then it's quickly died after that. Uh, but the Atlanta Sharks bot was able to do a lot of damage to Carolina Panthers team, bringing them down really low so that the Zoomroll could come in and just sweep at the end, which made it a 4-0 differential, 4-0 kill-death ratio in this match. Thunderous team never hit the field as far as I'm concerned, but Arcanine and Mega Lopunny also got 2 kills in this matchup to round out the victory for the Atlanta Sharks. Do you have anything to say about this battle?
Not too much. Bob definitely used Azumarill to his advantage. He Azumarill hit almost everything on Oz's team for super effective damage. The Hydreigon, Mega Aerodactyl, Diancie, and Rotom H. So he definitely used it very well, keeping it in that late game, making sure it doesn't die until then, and then coming in and sweeping the rest of his team just to finish up the match. Because it was in Oz's favor for a little while, and then the Azumarill comes in and just cleans up shop from there. The Ferrothorn didn't really do much. It got taken out by Mew right away. Although I don't know how much I agree with Oz really trying to kill that Ferrothorn and then sacking off his Mew. I don't know the set. It might have been choice banded or something, but I know he's going for drain punches.
It wasn't
But
choice banded because he was going between two different moves, so I know he wasn't choice banded.
oh, okay, so my bad. But definitely, it was a big improvement from last week. Uh, his planning to me seemed much better, and I'm really excited to see how well he does in the future. Bob's been doing very well, going 2-0, and I'm looking forward to seeing what both of these teams do.
Yeah, the only thing, like you said, with the Muse being sacked off really early just to go against that Ferrothorn probably wasn't the greatest thing to do. The Toxicroak didn't really seem to have much really able to do against the Azumarill. I don't know what set he was running on that. So if he used Mew to try to go against Azumarill as well, because I know he was running a physical Mew. If he ran like Gunk Shot or something on there to go against the Azumarill, probably would have been a little better, just so we can use that Mew a little bit more revenge, because he did have the Rotom H to go against the Ferrothorn. So
Mhm.
he could have switched that in and got some damage off on that. But
Yeah,
let's
but hindsight's 2020. So if it seemed like the best thing to do with the match, that's the play he made. But we can always look back and say, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this,
yeah. So
because we all look back and say, what should I have done in the match? But it was a very good match nonetheless,
hmm
and I really like how well Oz improved in just 1 week. So
yeah, that was 1 week, and he went from I believe it was a 6-0 loss last week to a 2-0 loss this week.
mhm.
So I think that was definitely a big improvement. So let's go on and talk about the next match.
Yeah. So the second match was the Florida for Alligators, coached by Jair, and Miami Heat Trans, coached by Ty. And The Florida for Alligators brought Jirachi, Seismitoad, Gligar, Amoonguss, Tornadus T, and Mienshao. And Miami Heatrans brought Shaman, Mega Charizard X, Weezing, Dusclops, Nidoking, and Suicune. Florida for Alligators picked up a pretty big 5-0 victory. You didn't really have too much for the Jirachi. It was Choice Scarfs. You brought in the Nidoking on a Choice Scarf Jirachi, even though your Nidoking was Choice Scarf, and it died pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it happens. You make some misplays, but I think Jair was playing really well. He got some luck in that match, definitely landing. I think was it 3 Hurricanes in a row,
Mhm.
where I seem to be I can barely land like 2. But he played very well. Choice Scarf Jirachi is a very good Scarfer to run. It's very hard to deal with. And Tornadus T is just such a powerhouse. He didn't really do much with the Gligar. I don't think it just kind of died.
Yeah.
Um,
It died to the Dusclops, just because I brought Ice Beam on the Dusclops just to deal with the Gligar, because I know that because Dusclops couldn't do anything to it besides that, so I knew he would switch on it. But yeah, the Jirachi being Choice Scarfed and being a special Jirachi really hurt me, because he brought the special just to deal with the Weezing, which I was like, okay. And that's why I brought No King, so I knew it was Scarfed. If he wasn't Scarfed, I would have outsped and taken out with one Earthquake. So,
yeah, I mean, one other thing, like bringing in the Charizard X against the Gligar, uh, because it took a lot of damage from the rocks,
mhm.
and then could get hurt by the earthquake. So uh, it wasn't a very close match. I think he just had the better team matchup this time. Definitely had a lot of things for all of your different threats. Um, Definitely, I think Shaman was really good against his team though. It was tanking a lot of those hits, especially from Jirachi, and unfortunately, not much could take the Tornado Seas Hurricane. So
Yeah, I just want to say though, he hit 3 Hurricanes. I couldn't hit one Fire Blast with Weezing when he switched in the Jirachi. I went for Fire Blast and it missed, and granted, it wouldn't have killed. But because this was a max special attacking Weezing, modest, so it definitely wouldn't have killed. Just due to Weezing's special attack stat, it still wasn't that great.
mhm.
But it still would have done a lot of damage to Jirachi, so that I could have possibly taken it out with something else if after the Nidoking took it went down, but at that point there wasn't much I can do about that. So
Yeah,
he
it
played.
was definitely yeah, that's the way Pokemon goes. Sometimes you get unlucky, sometimes your opponent gets lucky, but in the end, it was it was definitely, at least in my opinion, a pretty good match.
Yeah, he's just playing better. Had a better matchup against mine.
Mhm.
I try to play him for everything. It's just the Tornadus T is very hard to plan for.
Definitely.
I see now that I probably should have brought the Raikou just to hopefully done something against the Tornadus T, but looking back at it now, with the Gligar there, I didn't really want to risk it.
Mhm.
And the Seismitoad,
And he brought both.
yeah, so I can see why I didn't bring the Raikou, but then if I had the Raikou for the Tornadus T, I probably could have done better, but
Mhm.
like there wasn't much I can do at that point after we took out the Nidoking, because the Nidoking being Choice Scarfed would have done damage to pretty much everything really well,
Yeah.
and would have been like a late game sweeper, but unfortunately there's not much I can do when you have a Choice Scarfed Jirachi.
Yeah. It was yeah, again, hindsight 2020. We all could see things we do better, but you just got to move on.
Yep. So let's go ahead and talk about the next match. The next match was the New England Patriots, coached by Berk, versus the San Francisco 49 Tails, coached by Boo. Now, you brought the Zelf, the Togekiss, the Thunderous Eye, the Mega Venusaur, the Excadrill, and the Scrafty. When he brought the Reuniclus, the Primeape, the Yanmega, the Weavile, the Porygon 2, and the Mega Blastoise. Sort of like the last match, you sort of dominated this match. Boo wasn't really able to get much momentum in the match on his side. He didn't really have much to deal with the Mega Venusaur or the Togekiss very well. Um, you did sack down the extra drill after it got one kill, which I can understand why, because if you switched anything else, it would have taken a lot of damage. But I don't think your Azelf, your Thunderous Eye, or your Scrafty, I could be wrong, did any of those actually hit the field?
Uh, I don't think Azelf or Thunderous did. Scrafty definitely was out there passing around Intimidates to that Weavile.
Gotcha, because the Weavile was the only thing able to get the kill onto the extra drill. But he didn't like the only thing I could really see on his team that really had anything to do much to the Mega Venusaur was Reuniclus and Yon Mega.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
there wasn't really much that even with those mods that they were able to do because you had other things to counteract that.
yeah. I had my core Mega Venusaur and Togekiss. They just work so well. Actually, scoring 5 of the kills this week, just like last week. My Wall scored 5 of the 6 kills. I just want to say this was an incredibly haxy battle on both sides,
There was a lot of
not just mine.
flinches.
Yeah, my Togekiss went 3 for 3 for flinches, and his Weavile, I didn't even count how many flinches he got on my Mega Venusaur, but it was a lot. It was a lot of flinches, and I got like I crit his Porygon 2 with my Excadrill, and there. I don't know if in the end they were all really important, but definitely probably one of the haxiest matches I had been in. I'd never seen Icicle Crash flinch so many times, and we were both laughing about it during the match because it's just, huh, I just need to get a synthesis off, and then I flinch, and then I flinch again. All right, well, send something else in. Hopefully, But it was a good match. He didn't really have too much for my Mega Venusaur. Yeah, he had the Reuniclus and the Yanmega, but I was able to take out the Yanmega with my Togekiss, and I was able to take out the Reuniclus actually with my Mega Venusaur. So uh, I, I held the momentum. Um, I played a little sloppy at the end, especially around that Weavile. I socked off the Excadrill. I'm like, I wonder if Excadrill can take an Icicle Crash.
No.
Turns out it can't. So, especially not 50% HP, especially not a banded Icicle Crash.
Yeah, no.
But some of the hacks allowed me to get a better differential, and then some of the hacks at the end, with all the flinches, I was not able to get a 6-0, which kind of, I wouldn't say balances out, but
Can I say
uh,
one thing though about this week? Out of all these matches, there were so many hacks, and both of us said last week during the weekly recap that we did not want this to be like GBA week 2, where there was all hacks throughout the week.
mhm. Yeah, I just want to apologize right now to everyone. I'm sorry. We're sorry that we jinxed it and caused a very haxy week. But
Yeah, that was.
I guess it happens.
Yeah, week 2 is just seems like it's always the hacked week for everybody. So,
Yeah,
but is there anything else you'd like to say about this match?
not too much.
I was curious, what set were you running on your Azel since it never actually came in?
Oh, great. I don't.
You don't remember?
Okay, I think. Hold on. I think I can remember this. It was. It had. It was a physical Azelf. It was a focus sash Azelf. That's right. I was thinking Choice Scarf, but I think I ran. No.
Focus Sash physical. Okay.
Yeah, Focus Sash physical Azelf. I ran it because I thought he was going to bring the Dragonite, and it had Ice Punch, and so if he set up and I didn't have rocks on my side of the field, I could take a hit and then just Oko with an Ice Punch. So it was my kind of panic button in case things went south real fast and I had to take something out.
So it was your Sigilyph to
Yeah, not quite as good because it doesn't have the Magic Guard, but
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, that's not too bad. I was just curious since we never actually did see it. Thunderous Eye is normally everyone knows what Thunderous
yeah,
Eye
it
normally does.
was it was the same Life Orb Prankster attacker pretty much,
Yeah,
just with some different coverage moves. It did have taunt just for that Klefki though, in
which
case
he
he brought.
which he never brought. So that was, I mean,
It's kind of waste, but
it's never a waste. You never know what's gonna happen.
that's true.
All right, so in the next matchup, go ahead and talk about the next matchup.
So the next match was the Calgary Flamethrowers, coached by Hayden, versus the Manaphy City, coached by Cameron. Hayden brought Crawdaunt, can't talk right now, Crawdaunt, Mega Charizard Y, Jellicent, Chansey, Venusaur, and Latias, and Cameron brought Greninja, Mega Alakazam, Tentacruel, Slurpuff, Salamence, and Florges. And he scored an extremely strong 6-0 victory against Manaphy City. Uh, Hayden he held the momentum throughout that
Mm-hmm.
whole thing. He just had it. Especially, I think he was running Choice Scarf Latias,
Yep.
and it was able to take out the Tentacruel. I know it took out the Mega Alakazam,
Took out the Salamence.
and it took out the Salamence.
Oh,
Yeah, because he Ice Beamed the Salamence, and then he Ice Beamed Mega Alakazam to kill it.
Did he take out the Mega Alakazam? I know he took out the. Didn't he take out the Slurpuff as well?
Yes. Okay, so it wasn't the Tentacruel, but
Yeah.
I remember him taking out the Mega Alakazam because he sent it in thinking he would outspeed, and then it just died from the Latias. And then the Slurpuff due to the freeze.
Yeah.
So,
Because like the freeze was one of the biggest hacks in this match. It got a freeze off onto the Slurpuff, which Slurpuff went for belly drum. Got this ice went for ice beam. Got the belly drum off, but what happened was that this ice beam brought him down. Scissors Barry brought it back up, but he got the freeze. But he went for the belly drum. If he didn't freeze him for the belly drum, he would have gotten the Unburner boost and outsped the Latias, so he could have at least made this at least a 5-0 at the max. But then Crawdot could have came in and easily taken
Yeah.
out with an Aqua Deck because it would have brought it down really low at that point.
yeah, it would have brought it down to about 25%, and I think a Crawdon Aqua Jet does at least like 40. So he would have at least killed the Latias, barring, like a play rough miss, which would just absolutely suck.
That would have been more hacks that we probably didn't need.
Yeah. But the Crawdon would have just been able to come in Aqua Jet, so it would have been a 5-0 victory, not a 6-0. So it did, that does suck for Cameron because, no one wants to have unnecessary hacks in any battle.
Mm-mm.
But really, at that point, there wasn't much he could do to swing the momentum back in his favor. Hayden just had enough to counter his team.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Like the Jellicent and Chansey Core was definitely a good thing, and then he brought the Sun with Mega Charizard Y, and then brought Venusaur as well to get the Chlorophyll to.
Yep.
I think it was the Venusaur that might have taken out the Tentacruel, or took out the.
I can't quite remember. It
Can't
might have
either.
taken out the Greninja, but it was. Yeah, I just can't remember what exactly took out what. I know I know what the Latias took out, but I think the Mega Charizard Y took out the Tentacruel with
Solar Beam, I believe.
Solar
it was.
Beam, and it probably took out the Florges as well. And I think the Venusaur took out the Greninja, but I could be wrong.
I would give Cameron props. He did plan really well. He brought the things that would really check the team very well. It just,
Yeah.
fortunately, he just got really unlucky with and just didn't play around that Choice Scarf Latias very well.
Yeah, I don't think he predicted Choice Scarf Latias, and it was just able to definitely hurt his team pretty badly.
Because if it wasn't for Choice Scarf, Mega Alakazam could have outsped possibly and got a Dazzling Gleam off and would have done a lot more work to his team. And then
Dazzling Beam, Shadow Ball, pretty much anything.
yeah, so there was definitely a smart play on Hayden's part to bring the Choice Scarf for the Latias because that really came through for him.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the next matchup that we had, which was the Cincinnati Regigigas versus the Bayleaf Munichs. The Cincinnati Regigigas, coached by Damon, brought the Hawlucha, the Blastoise, the Garchomp, the Mega Scizor, the Gardevoir, and the Superior, while the Bayleaf Munichs and Tom brought Milotic, Mega Gardevoir, Gourgeist, Keldeo, Scizor, and Dragouchi. This is the battle of the Megas versus the 9. Damon has Mega Scizor but has regular Gardevoir, while Tom has Mega Gardevoir but regular Scizor. I thought this was really funny going into week 2 for this. Damon came out with a 2-0 victory over Tom. They both played phenomenally. I think this might have been one of the best matches this week. They both played really well. It pretty much just... the Hawlucha didn't even really come into the field at all to really do anything. So the Superior died, which pulling a play out of the Shady Penguins playbook. Went for a Leaf Storm on Milotic. Milotic lived it and got a Mirror Coat off and took out the Superior in one hit.
Yeah.
That was definitely impressive and good planning on Tom's part, so that it's because Superior probably could have swept a lot of things. They did bring the HP Fire for the Scizor, and had the Dragon Pulse for the Dragouchi, I think one or two Leaf Storms could take out the Mega God of War. Hidden Power Fire after a cold boost could take out the Gorgeist.
Hmm.
Uh, like it could have swept his whole entire team if it wasn't for that melodic. So I think that was really good planning on Tom's part, and I think both of them just played really well. It just came down to Mega Scizor just did a little bit better than Mega
Hmm.
God of War this week and picked up 3 kills, taking out a lot of the good threats on Tom's team and came out with a victory on that one. So, what was your opinion on the match?
Yeah, I think Tom planned pretty well. Mega Scizor was just he just used it, I think, more effectively than Tom used his Scizor. That bullet punch, I mean, the Mega Scizor took out the Mega Gardevoir, so uh, the Keldeo and the Melodic.
Yeah.
I think Tom made a few mispredictions, predicting like the Scizor to come in. I think he went for an HP Fire one time, and predicting the Scizor to come in. Um, the Holucha, I don't think hit the field.
It did not.
Uh, but yeah, the Tom was just a little bit behind in this match throughout the entire thing. Damon really held the momentum. His uh, the Blastoise was able to kill, uh, Tom Scizor. So that Blastoise still, still getting some kills out
Hmm.
there. So I really like how he's been using it. Um,
Unfortunately
I,
for Damon, for some reason Showdown screwed up his Garchomp and switched it on him because he was trying to bring in the rough skin Garchomp for this week, but if for some reason switched
yeah,
to like one of his like Sand Force or something that he has, and that because the rough skin would have done a lot of damage. The Scissor kept on U-turning on it, and it would have taken a lot of damage from the rough skin. So,
mhm. Yeah. I mean that happens. I know it's happened to me before.
hmm
So yeah, it sucks. Um, but unfortunately, Tom didn't really get to use the Dragalge. He left it in on the Gardevoir and was just able to psychic and kill or side shock and kill it. So that was a definite misplay because Dragalge, at least it looks like to me, could have put in quite a bit of work on his team. It was a superior counter, even though he didn't really have much of a problem taking it out, but it did cost him his melodic.
mm,
And Dragalge with can wall the Mega Scizor pretty well, especially if it's carrying like HP Fire, can take out the Mega Scizor. I can deal with the Garchomp. It can deal with the Holucha. So
I think he might have been predicting maybe that the Gardevoir would only be going for Hyper Voice or something, and Triage could live the Hyper Voice due to being only neutral to it.
well, he wouldn't have gone for Hyper Voice. He's only a regular Gardevoir. So
That's true.
um,
So
yeah. So I don't know. He left it in on the Gardevoir. It died, and I think that was kind of the where Damon started taking a lot of the momentum
hmm
because then it also took out his Gourgeist, his physical wall. So Damon started taking a lot of momentum at that point. Tom definitely held in there, scoring some pretty critical kills, especially with the melodic kill on the Superior
hmm
and Scizor killing the Garchomp and the Gardevoir. So yeah, he held in there, but in the end, Damon was just able to overpower him with the Mega Scizor.
Yeah, and that's true. Mega Scizor is a big threat in this league. It can do a lot of great work and improved really well in this matchup. But like we said, both teams planned really well. They both brought really good teams to go against each other. It's just Damon started getting the upper hand once that Dragalge went down, and he just kept the momentum throughout the rest of the battle. So let's go ahead and talk about the last matchup of the week.
So the last match was the Seattle Superiors, coached by Braden, versus the Dallas Victory Stars, coached by Xavier. Braden brought the Lando T, Nidoqueen, Uxie, Volcarona, Kyurem B, and Mega Diancie, and Xavier brought Victini, Sylveon, Mismagius, Empoleon, Kyurem, and the Chestnut. So it was a pretty strong 4-0 victory for the Dallas Victory Stars. Um, Xavier really putting in work with the Kyurem, scoring
hmm
3 kills this week. Yeah, it's not something you really expect from a Kyurem. Yeah, it's relegated down to I think ban list 2, and it's not nearly as good as say Kyurem B. But Kyurem base form was actually able to take out the Kyurem B. that's some really big mind games going on there.
I think that was
Uh,
due to the fact that it was Twist Guard, so they would
mhm,
outspeed the QMB and
yeah,
just take it out with the Draco Meteor, which he just dropped that Draco right on his head. And
yeah, no, that was. I mean, Kyurem Choice Scarf is pretty damn fast,
hmm
and he was able to take out the what was it? He killed the Kyurem B, the Lando T, and the Nidoqueen with it. You know, three big threats on Brayden's team, and he just didn't really have much for the Kyurem. Uh, he's Mega Diancie, but nothing really walled it very well on
mm
his team. There's a few weird plays, like right in the beginning, Brayden went for Memento against an Empoleon.
and sacrificed I believe it was the Uxie.
Yeah, and Empoleon's not an offensive threat, so forcing the switch at the Empoleon, he lost a pretty big wall, especially something that could actually wall the Kyurem. But
Yeah.
early on, he kind of just sacked it off. So uh, some interesting other kills. Chestnut through Leech Seed actually killed Volcarona. So something you'd think would be the other way around. Volcarona getting the kill, but nope. Chestnut this week actually killing a Volcarona.
That was actually the second week that Chestnut killed something that it should have died to.
Yeah.
So Chestnut is just a good physical wall that nothing really was able to
hmm
do much against it, and it did die this week.
It did
Uh,
die along with Empoleon,
mhm.
and another thing was it was the Empoleon actually died from the Lando T, even though the Mega Diancie was actually about to kill the Empoleon, but either Brayden was predicting a switch, or he was trying to get a little bit greedy with the defense raises from Diamond Storm. He went for Diamond Storm against the Empoleon. The Empoleon lived it and then killed the Mega Diancie with a flash cannon. So
Mhm.
Mega Diancie didn't really get to do much, and that was definitely a big threat to Xavier's team because it handled the Victini, and it handled the Empoleon, it handled the not the Chestnut, well, the Kyurem, and definitely the Chestnut because of like Moonblast or something. So that was definitely a big misplay, and I think that really shifted the momentum towards Xavier's side.
Which I
And
don't think Victini, Sylveon, or Miss Matrius did they ever hit the field? I cannot remember the top of my head.
Miss Magius definitely did. Victini did not. I know he said he didn't want to switch Victini in at all, because if it died to something like the Kyurem B, he said he'd never live it down. So that never saw the field, and the Sylveon I think came in once.
So I mean, those are three big threats that I know. There was Magius being such good special defensive, could have been the one thing that could have really dealt with the Mega Diancie if it wasn't for the Empoleon.
Yeah,
So I mean, those three not really doing that much in this matchup. It was really just Empoleon, Kira, and Chestnut that did the majority of the work. And
yeah, definitely just walling a lot of things, and I think they both planned very well.
hmm
Just there was a few misplays from Seattle Superiors that definitely just gave the momentum over to Xavier. So yeah, it happens. And again, hindsight's 2020, but shoring up those misplays, will definitely make a big difference next week.
yeah, maybe not Memento Uxie.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a thing he can use, especially against something that maybe he's trying to set up.
Yeah, maybe
Go for
like
a memento.
like a nasty plot Miss Magius or something maybe.
hmm
But
But
on the Empoleon probably wasn't the best thing for it.
yeah, uh, but again, maybe that was the best play he thought he had at the time. We don't know, but it was definitely a very strong showing from the Dallas Victory Stars,
Mm.
and yeah, they are a very strong team this season.
I mean, with the team that they have, I can definitely see them going farther in this league, doing very well.
hmm
And so let's go talk about the MVP
All right,
sorry about that
race.
weird cutout there, guys. We had unfortunately a little bit of technical difficulties. My internet just wanted to be stupid and not connect to Berk or anybody else. So let's go.
Happens.
Yeah, it sucks. So let's go ahead and talk about the MVP race. So go ahead and talk about the first 3 months.
All right, so I am so happy about this because number one on the MVP race is Mega Venusaur. 6 kills, 0 deaths, and coached by yours truly. I'm so happy about this. He is #1 in the league right now. And it's just been doing so well, tanking those hits. And it's been a wall for 2 weeks in a row, and it's gotten 6 kills. So, really happy about that. Next, we have Mega Charizard Y, who was #1 last time, but is no longer because it has 6 kills and 1 death with a total of +5. And #3, who I don't remember if I don't think he was in the top 10 at all, Azumarill, 5 kills and 1 death with a +4.
He was part of that big group that was like 2-1
Oh,
for,
well,
or like
he
one
was
and one and one or something like
yeah,
that.
he was 1-1.
So like he definitely jumped up there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so with that, I'll be talking about the 4 through 10. We had Thunderous T, coached by Jair, the Florida for Alligators, with 4 kills, 0 deaths, with a +4 differential. We had Scizor with the Bayleaf Munichs, coached by Tom, with 4 kills, 2 deaths, with a +2 differential. Then we had Thunderous T, which was up there. It was at #3, but it dropped down because it didn't get any kills this week. Was with 3 kills, 0 deaths with a +2 differential. Kieran B comes through with from the Dallas Victory Stars at #7, with 3 kills, 0 deaths with a +3 differential. Mega Scizor from the Cincinnati Regigigas with a 3 kills, 0 deaths, and a +3 differential. And #9 we had Kieran B from the South Superiors, 3 kills, 1 death, and a +2 differential. And then Latias also from the Calgary Flamethrowers with 3 kills, 1 death, and +2 differential. So that's pretty much everyone's pretty much fighting for that #1 spot right now. Who knows? Maybe Venusaur will start losing here and not getting any kills and drop down a little bit. Uh,
Let's not go crazy here.
um,
But this week we actually have a distinct top 10.
mhm.
#11 is Gardevoir with 3 kills and 2 deaths. So we actually have a top 10, not just a big mass of 2 kills and 0 deaths, 2 kills and 1 deaths. So definitely shaping up to be a pretty interesting MVP race.
That is very
Uh,
true. And there's only, I believe, 2 teams that have 2 Mons in the MP race, with the Calgary Flamethrowers having Mega Charizard Y and Latias, and the Atlanta Shocks having a Azumarill and a Thunderous T. So that's actually definitely impressive from both those teams having 2 Mons in the top 10.
yeah, definitely using those mons very well.
Hmm.
I mean, Charizard Y, very powerful drought wall breaker. And Latias, that was very good choice Scarfer. And Azumarill was used very well. And Thunderous T didn't hit the field this week, but it got enough kills to stay in the top 10.
Yeah, and we can say that the Latias got the 3 kills that it has right now from just this week alone. The week before
Hmm.
that, it just died once and it never really did anything.
Yep.
So that's definitely impressive to get 3 kills and jump all the way up to from one of the lowest spots in tier all the way up to number 10 in the MVP race.
Well, it was only week 2, so
It's still
uh,
impressive though. It's still
yeah,
impressive.
no, definitely getting 3 kills in a match, very impressive.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the week 3 matchups and give our predictions on those matchups. The first matchup is the Calgary Flamethrowers, coached by Hayden, going against the Atlanta Sharks and coached by Bob. This is going to be a definitely interesting matchup. Hayden is 1-1, while Bob is 2-0. Both teams coming off of a big win this week. Uh, but the way that the Calgary Flamethrowers have been played in this last week, I think they might come out with a victory on this one. I think that they'll definitely be able to do a lot of work against Bob's team this week, and I can definitely see them doing really, really well against them. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be an interesting match. The Atlanta Shocks definitely have threats against the Calgary Calgary Flamethrowers. I'm never gonna be able to say that right in the first time. Calgary Flamethrowers, but I'm gonna have to agree. I think the Calgary Flamethrowers are gonna be able to pull out a win this week.
All right. So, what's the next matchup we have on the list?
So we have Damon and the Cincinnati Regigigas against Boo and the San Francisco 49 Tails. Uh, is again, I think it's going to be a good match. Boo, coming off a pretty big loss against myself, and Damon coming off a pretty big win against Tom. And Damon has a lot of momentum coming into this week, so I'm gonna have to give the edge to Damon in this battle.
I agree. Both those wins, both these past two wins for Damon have been very big for him. Boo hasn't been able to really get that first win yet and get over that hump. Maybe he'll get that this week, but I'll have to agree that I think Damon just it's. I don't think Boo really has much to really check a lot of things on Damon's team, and I think Damon will be able to pair really well since he's done it in the past, and pick up another victory for him for that week.
Definitely.
So the next matchup we have myself, the Miami Heat Trans going against Carolina Panthers, Oz, and it's the battle of one of us will no longer be 0-2 or 0-3. One of us will get our first win this season.
Yep.
Um,
It's definitely one of you's going away 0-3, and one of you is coming away 1-2. Uh, I it's hard for me to call who's going to win this. Um, I think he definitely has some big threats, especially Mew, because you do have a lot of poison types.
mhm.
Um, but seeing that, I think you've been planning better. Uh, I'm gonna give you the edge in this one, and I think you're gonna walk away with a victory this week.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm not gonna make a prediction on this one because, of course, I'm gonna want to win, but I'm not gonna make a prediction because we won't know until the match actually happens. The uh,
The
the next,
next,
go
well,
ahead.
the next match is the. Yeah, I've been talking a lot. The next match is myself with the New England Patriots against Xavier and the Dallas Victory Stars. The team, we are both undefeated, so one of us is going to be walking out this week still undefeated, and one of us is going to be walking away with our first loss. So I'm not going to make a prediction because I'd be a little biased.
Just a
Uh,
little bit. In my opinion, just see, this is a very hard matchup because both of you all been playing very well. You both have been planning very well. Um, but in my opinion, I don't really think Xavier has much of a check to your Mega Venusaur wall that you have there. Because the only thing I can see him possibly using is Victini to try to counter it. But it's still going to be very hard because you have things to check that Victini. Uh, so honestly, in my opinion, I'm gonna have to give you, even though we said that Xavier was gonna lose last week and he still picked up a 4-0 victory. I'm gonna go again and say that I think he's gonna lose his first game this week, and you are gonna pull off with a victory this week and go 3-0.
yeah, well, hopefully, yeah, I think it's going to be a great match either way. So
Hmm.
I won't give my opinion. I won't give my opinion on this one.
And the next matchup is going to be Jair with the Florida for Alligators going against Cameron in the Manaphy City. Uh, this is going to be a hard matchup. Manaphy City has not won a match yet. They're still 0-2, while Jair and the Florida for Alligators, I cannot say this team.
You're having the
Uh,
same problem I have with Calgary.
I really do. The alliteration is ridiculous. I don't honestly know. I'm gonna have to give it to Jair. Jair's been playing very well. He's definitely picked up. Really knows how to build with his team. He's definitely done very good planning. I'm not just saying that because he did crush me this past week. But he just has done very well. And Cameron, I think he still has some work. He has to learn his team a little more and figure out what really works best. And I think it will be a really good game. But I'm gonna have to give it to Jair for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. Jair's been playing really well, and Cam hasn't been doing as well. But I think Cam is he really wants to win. He really wants to win, and I think he definitely, for me, he does seem to have the better team matchup. He's got like Greninja, Talonflame, and whatnot. So, I think Cameron can probably pull this one out this week.
All right. Well, I mean, it's okay for us to disagree once in a while. We can't always agree on every single match.
Eh.
Uh, the last. Go ahead and talk about the last week matchup.
So the last match is the Seattle Superiors, coached by Braden, versus the Bailiff Munich, coached by Tom. So I am definitely split. I don't know. I thought Tom was going to win last week, and he definitely played very well, and he has been playing very well. Uh, but he just Braden just has that Kyurem beat that I'm still waiting to see do really well. And I know I said Braden was going to win last week, um, but I'm gonna say Braden's going to win this one this week.
See, I'm gonna have to. Just like in the last match, you disagreed with me. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I think both of them are playing very well, but Braden just came off of a really big loss. He just lost 4-0 to the Dallas Victory Stars, and I don't know if he'll be able to. I want to see how well he bounces back from that matchup. But Bailiff Munich haven't won a game yet, and I think that they're hungry for that win. I think Tom really needs a win here to really solidify himself in this league,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like he's going to plan really well, and he's going to come through with victory on this one. It's going to be a very close matchup. I can predict maybe like a 1-2-0 victory, but it's going to be very, very close, but I think Tom's going to come away with a victory on this one.
All right, yeah.
Uh,
I think it's more fun to disagree. So,
it is a lot more fun. It is a lot more fun. I definitely agree
and
with that.
and at least one of us will be right. So,
That is very true. That is very true. Alright, so with that, I want to thank you everyone who came out to watch the video. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button just to show support to the channel. And me and Berk will see you in the next video.
later.
Bye.